U.S. intelligence leaders say China poses the most consequential threat to the nation's national security. The remarks were part of a Senate Intelligence Committee's annual hearing on worldwide threats. The hearing follows Chinese President Xi Jinping expressing concerns over the future of the country's relationship with Washington, and as Beijing and Moscow look to deepen their ties. So, Director of National Intelligence Avril Haines addressed those concerns.
Needless to say, the People's Republic of China, which is increasingly challenging the United States economically, technologically, politically, and militarily around the world, remains our unparalleled priority.
So CBS News intelligence and national security reporter Olivia Gazis is here to talk about what we have heard. So Olivia, the intelligence community says that China's threats are multidimensional, to say the least. How extensive is the country's reach, and what are the U.S.'s sort of greatest concerns?
Yeah, good morning, Anne-Marie and Vlad. So this is a hearing that tries to cover almost literally a world of problems in just a couple of hours. But it was those threats emanating from the Chinese government that really took central focus yesterday. So as you heard, the Director of National Intelligence described the Chinese Communist Party as the leading and most consequential threat to U.S. national security, and said that President Xi Jinping is now surrounded by loyalists who, like him, believe that China's path to becoming a major power will have to come at the expense of American power and influence. At the same time, the DNI said that China realizes that it's really in its best interest not to have our relationship spiral out of control, but to keep it on stable footing. But to your point, the questions that were raised by lawmakers yesterday really illustrated how difficult that might be given the range of challenges that we're confronting. There was ample discussion, for example, of TikTok, and what we heard from the FBI director was concern that the Chinese government could control the data and the software of millions of Americans' devices, or even unspool an influence campaign that was designed to divide us, much like we saw Russia do in 2016. And that, the director said, could be very difficult to detect in real time. And he said that TikTok, the app, just screams of national security concerns.
Let's talk about Russia, Olivia. What type of threat does the Kremlin pose to U.S. national security as it presses forward with its wave of aggression in Ukraine?
Yeah, this is one of the more fulsome updates that we've gotten from the intelligence community since Russia launched its invasion last year. And a few things stood out. Number one, that Putin now seems to have a better understanding of the limitations of his own military, which hasn't been clear as we've just watched Russia hemorrhaging troops and armor over the past year. So Putin may now be revising down his military objectives to be more modest, the DNI said, essentially holding fast to the territory that he already has gained. Second, and I thought this was pretty stunning, is that it's unlikely that Russia will make any major territorial gains this year, but that Putin is nonetheless, he thinks time is on his side. He's willing to wait a long, long time to achieve those goals in Ukraine, even if that means pausing and restarting the fighting over what the DNI said could be a period of years. And then finally, as his military options become more costly, the official said yesterday that Russia could start to reach for more asymmetric tactics. That includes nuclear threats, cyber attacks, and really leaning on the few friends that it has left in this world, namely Iran, North Korea, and to an extent China. A note on that one, the DNI said that the relationship between Beijing and Moscow was deepening across the board, but that to date China still seems uncomfortable, as she put it, with overtly aiding Russia in this conflict.
All right, Olivia, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.